The Queen of England gave her an OBE for being an international queen of fashion. Glenda Bailey, please. Here's your clock, Glenda. What time did you wake up, Cole?
Hopefully, we're going to be very comfortable for a very long time. Okay, so settle in. Make yourself at home. Okay. So, first question I have for you, John, is what made you decide to write the book at this moment in time?
Well, it comes down to, well, it's my dad, really. My dad passed away coming up on 3 years this winter. And I had to sell the house that I've grown up in, and I cleared the house of all the belongings in about 4 hours, one insanely manic Sunday afternoon. And my parents had kept everything from day one. I walked away from the house, drove away from the neighborhood. I haven't been back since. And I started thinking about memorializing my parents in some way, about writing about their experience. Actually, I didn't even know if it was going to be a book or a song. And then, as that idea was gestating, I was then approached at the beginning of last year on a more practical commercial level. I was approached last year, and an agent in London suggested to me that if I wanted to write a book, now would be a really good time. There was a bit of a gold rush on in the publishing business at the moment. And then Simon lost his voice last summer, and we had to cancel, what, 2.5 months of shows or something? And I don't like downtime, so I thought, let's write that book. So we got going.
Well, one of my concerns
that I would never have kept. But I mean, I'm obsessed with stuff from the past. I mean, I loved really, like the photographs from growing up and all of that stuff too. You know.
The photographs are really, really good. It's a real treat. But I think it's interesting to know, what do you think that will surprise the reader? What do you think they're not expecting from the book?
I don't. I'm not sure really. I think that a lot of people here have got a pretty good sense of who I am. You know, I'm quite vocal on the social networking media, and I think they know I'm quite frank, and I'm a bit of an oversharer, even on the level of Twitter. So yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, we do love that. We can't get enough, can we? Let's face it. Now, I did lots of research when I knew I was going to do this. So I looked back in time and I looked up a magazine called Smash Hits. And in 1985, they asked John, if you were a household product, what would it be?
I know the answer to that. I know the answer to that. I said I'd be a refrigerator, because that way I'd be cool. We had the smooth answers even then.
I'm sorry, but it gets worse. Guess what he answered when they asked him recently? You said, what did you say? What household product did you say now? You did indeed. Presumably because you wanted to be hot. Okay, so now moving on.
Well, you would have to be.
There's some very, very, very moving pieces in your book, and you know, amongst all the laughter and all the fun, I think I was most touched about when you talked about your parents and about your upbringing in the Midlands, where of course I come from too, so I really identify with this background. It would be so lovely if you could share with everybody some of your thoughts about your parents and what it was like growing up, what you were like as a young man.
Well, I feel incredibly lucky to have had the upbringing that I had, and you know, it really was the centre of my parents' attention. I was an only child, which I appreciated. They loved each other, and I mean, not in a demonstrative way, you know, but I don't know. We were a very, very tight unit growing up, and which I think has its time.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and anyway, and Don backed him up on guitar, and it really was. I mean, I remember asking him actually, really with a lump in my throat, and when he, without a moment, you know, doubt, he said, "I would love to." You know, I was like, "Oh my God, thank you."
Yeah.
It was big stuff, but that's when you appreciate your family.
It's true, and friends that become family.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning of the book, it's so lovely how you describe about you walking with your mother and going on your journey to church, and of course you talk about how music is so important to you, and how you were really influenced by all the I remember you described the carols as mega hits.
Yes,
It is.
Okay, I'm going to read the chapter entitled Jack, Jean and Nigel. Here's this little guy here. Church just was, like electricity, heat, or black and white TV. Something that just existed. I assumed everybody went 5 times a week. I didn't know I was one of a subset, a species, a Roman Catholic. You don't question things like that when you're little. I never questioned why Mom and I went to the church almost every day, or why, when Dad drove us on Sundays. Wait a minute. I'm not reading that chapter. I'm reading chapter 1. Hey Jude.
Start at the beginning.
I'm going to start again. Sorry. Rewind.
So you see, we wanted to make sure you got your money's worth. So you did a bit more.
This is not familiar territory. Okay, this is chapter 1. Hey Jude. I'm 4 years old, confident and shy. Hair blonder than it would be in my teen years. In shorts and sandals, a young prince of the neighborhood. The South Birmingham suburb of Hollywood. How perfect. 10 o'clock in the morning on any given weekday in 1964, and I've stepped down off the porch and wait, kicking at the grooved concrete driveway, watching as Mom pulls the front door closed, locks it up and puts the key in her handbag. She puts the handbag in the shopping bag and off we go. Left off the drive and up the hill that is the street on which we live, Simon Road. Our house is number 34, one up from where the road ends. We walk together along the pavement, counting down, 32, 30, 28. On the left side of the street are all the even-numbered semi-detached houses, single buildings designed to function as 2 separate homes. Ours is twinned with number 36. Across the street, the odd-numbered houses are detached, each building a single dwelling, all much larger than ours, and so are the back gardens, which are long and tree-filled and bordered at the bottom by a stream. The driveways are slicker too, with space for more than one car. Later on, when I started to become a little status aware, I would ask my parents, why didn't you pay the extra 600 quid that would have gotten us the stream out back? I hold Mum's hand, remembering the Beatles song that is so often on the radio. As the incline gets steeper, we reach the crest of the hill where Simon Road meets Douglas Road, and turn right. We pass a 12-foot-high holly bush, the only evidence I would find that suggests where the estate got its name. We march on, crossing Hollywood Lane in front of Gay Hill Golf Club, an establishment that will assume mythical proportions in my imagination as a venue for wife-swapping parties. Not that anyone in my family set foot in the place. There was no truth in the rumour. Cars flash by at 20 or even 30 miles an hour. We make it to Hayter's Heath Lane, another main artery of the neighbourhood, which must be taken if you're visiting the old Birmingham of nans and aunts and uncles, recreational parks and bowling greens. It gets traversed a lot by the Taylor family at weekends. It must also be used by mother and son if we're to reach our destination today, St. Jude's Parish Church. All this walking. We've been doing it together for as long as I can remember. Mum doesn't drive and never will. At first I'd be in my pushchair, but now I'm old enough. We walk side by side, which must have come as a relief to Mum. There's no complaining from me, it just is and ever shall be. Amen. She's sweating now in her woolen skirt and raincoat, keen to get there. We walk past the Esso filling station, where in 1970 I will complete my set of commemorative Football World Cup coins. That's an English thing. One last left turn and we are on the paved forecourt upon which sits in breeze-blocked splendour St. Jude's Parish Church. I would go to many beautiful or inspiring churches when I was older. St. Patrick's on Fifth Avenue, St. Peter's in Rome, Notre Dame de Paris, but St. Jude's on Glenavon Road was the most pragmatic people's church anywhere in the first world. Intended as a temporary structure, not meant to last more than a few years, it's coming up on 20 now, and yawning with cold air and aching joints. Single story with windows every 6 feet along its length and a roof of corrugated iron. Its crude purity enhanced the idea that St. Jude's faithful had about being the chosen ones. Why else would we gather together in this cold, ugly place unless it was an absolute certainty that we would benefit from it? A communal sense of readiness sends us through the small lobby where on raw wooden tables literature is offered, some for sale, some for free. Textbooks, Bibles, songbooks and other merchandise including rosaries, crucifixes and pendants of St. Jude, the patron saint of hopeless cases. On into the nave where there is a smell of sweat and yesterday's incense. It's usually cool in here, sometimes warm but never hot. A tall red-headed man plays a rickety-looking organ, quietly piping sweet music that is barely there. Eno would call it ambient. Candles burn lazily with a holy scent. On the strike of 11, the service begins. The priest enters smartly, followed by a pair of young men in white robes. The priest's team, his posse, one of whom swings a silver chalice from which more incense issues. The air in the church needs a good cleansing before the good Father can breathe it. He wears elaborate clothing, a robe of green and gold silk with a red cross on his back. Beneath the cloak, ankle-length, turned-up trousers reveal the black socks and black brogues of any other working man. The music surges in volume and we all stand. The red-haired man leads us in a song we all know well. The Lord is my shepherd. I open the hymnal to read the words. I like this one. But like Mom, I'm too embarrassed to sing out loud. I wish I could. I just don't. But I like the feeling of togetherness that comes from everyone in the room singing the same words. Once the song is over, the priest walks to the dais. He glances down at his Bible, opens his hands wide and says, "Let us pray." Thank you.